In this video, we're going to get hands-on with muzzle brakes from Hawkins Precision. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. Here at Ultimate Reloader, we use a bunch of different products from Hawkins Precision, including their scope rings, different types of bottom metal. Their Hunter mag has been great. We've used that in both chassis rifles and more traditional stocks like what you have here. Now we're going to take a look at muzzle brakes. And Hawkins Precision offers two different styles of muzzle brakes. Your traditional, more hunting-oriented, what they call ported brake, different diameters available. It might be a seamless install where it's the same diameter as the muzzle, that sort of thing. Then they have their more tactical-oriented brakes called the Tank ST. ST stands for self-timing. That's what I've got here on this 6.5 Creedmoor. I thought it would be fun to take this brake, put it on the recoil rig, do a little bit of analysis, and then show how it's installed and reinstalled. There's some special features there. Plus, we'll also take a look at a very similar brake from Ace Precision called the Ace brake, which builds on this design and has other special features sort of on top of that. Okay, so let's talk about the Tank ST. The Tank ST is a stainless brake that has what Hawkins calls a flat port design. In other words, the ports are oriented 90 degrees from the bore axis, unlike some brakes where the ports are aimed rearward. The whole intent around this flat design is to disperse the gases sideways and have less concussive blast wave effect for the shooter. Now, if you've shot 200, 250 rounds in a weekend match or a one-day match, you realize just how much that affects the shooter. You can get slightly dizzy, slightly spacey feeling, you can have a headache. This is a real important issue. So the 4-port flat design was kind of one of the main goals there. There's also this unique self-timing collar, and what this enables you to do is to time the brake precisely. There's these little set screws that kind of lock it in place. Then you can remove and install the brake without having to retime it. I'll show that later in the video. We'll actually do a demo of that install. So if you consistently retorque the brake, it resets to the same orientation. It's got this 3/8 inch hex port on the end that you can use to tighten and loosen the brake. It's made of 17-4 stainless steel. It's nitrided, that gives it the black finish. It's available in 6mm, 6.5mm, 7mm, and 30 cal, and it is made in the USA. So let me talk a little bit about the Ultimate Reloader recoil rig. We've been using this a lot lately here on the channel. It is a very unique device. It was developed originally in its original form by Cal Zant on the Precision Rifle blog. We built our own version of it with the same electronic components and a different frame design. And what it enables us to do is capture rearward forces at the buttstock, like what would be pushing into your shoulder, at 20,000 force readings per second. So this can give you a very accurate profile of instantaneous forces over time. We're talking about a very short time window, like 14 thousandths of a second. It's a very, very short event, and a lot can happen in that time. And this is a very unique capability. No one else on YouTube has this recoil rig capability, and we've just learned a ton of really cool things by gathering data and comparing data and doing calculations, that sort of thing. So here's what we found when we put the Tank ST in with a 6.5 Creedmoor rifle on the recoil rig. You can see here the blue line is the bare muzzle trace, and the forces obviously are higher, and you're going to definitely feel that. The orange line is the recoil graph plot with the Tank ST installed on the same rifle. This is a Foundation Genesis 2. It's one of the Ultimate Reloader custom rifles. If you look at our insane 6.5 Creedmoor build, you can check out all of the details and follow along the process as I chamber the rifle and thread the muzzle and put it all together. We've shot this rifle a ton. Really, really great rig. And the micarta from the Foundation stock does a really good job stabilizing the rifle and kind of buffering some of the recoil vibrations and resonance. So we get these nice clean graphs like what you see here. So you can see peak forces without a brake on it were about 1,100 pounds instantaneous force, and then that was cut down to about 700 and something pounds with the brake installed, which is a big difference. You can see here visually how much of the edge of the recoil is taken off from that shooting experience. And if we look into the data, we've written custom software that processes the data and provides us these analytics. We can see that peak force was reduced by 35%, and recoil impulse, which is what you see here in yellow-orange, the whole total area under the curve, was reduced by 24%. So if you look at the total duration of that recoil event, the overall energy was reduced by that 24%. Whereas instantaneous forces is more like that sharp bite that's cut down by a certain amount. So certainly great performance there. Okay, we also wanted to take a look at the ACE brake, which shares a lot of the design features of the Tank ST, but the guys over at ACE designed some compensator ports that could actually be tuned as a part of this brake. So as you're indexing the brake, if those compensator ports are steered a little bit to the left or the right, they can help to compensate for leftward or rightward movement of the rifle due to recoil. And so builds on a lot of the same features, a little bit larger in diameter, has these tuner compensator ports, and is also available in bare stainless or nitrided, whereas the Tank ST is nitrided only. So we put the ACE brake on a 6GT rifle we recently did an overview of, the new Bergara Premier Competition in 6GT, which is really cool that now we're seeing factory rifles in these specialty cartridges for things like PRS shooting. 6-Dasher and 6GT have been really, really popular. 6GT is kind of edging into the lead because it's a little bit more friendly with feeding, doesn't need special magazines. You can use 308 AICS magazines, that kind of thing. So we put the ACE brake on that 6GT rifle, and this is what we found. So kind of a similar plot here. The Premier Competition, we had hand-loaded ammunition with 6GT. That was Berger 105s, running about 2,800 feet per second, if memory serves me correctly. And you can see here again, the blue line is with the bare muzzle, no brake, and the orange line here is with the ACE brake installed. So what did this net out to mean? Again, we have our data summaries that are spit out by this custom software that we wrote. Peak force here was reduced by 40%. So the larger diameter on the ACE brake helps to tame the recoil just a bit more, and recoil impulse was reduced by 27%, which was similar to what we had with the Tank ST. So kind of interesting to see, how these varied. If you look at peak forces with 6GT, 332 pounds, it's about half of what 6.5 Creedmoor is. So this is why cartridges like the Dasher and like the 6GT have become so popular, is if you need to see what's happening downrange, your trace, your hits, and your misses, the 6GT is going to allow you to do that a lot easier than a cartridge like 6.5 Creedmoor. Yep, impact. 6.5 Creedmoor isn't bad, and it definitely has big advantages when you need that little extra bit of oomph. But 6GT has really found a great sweet spot, and this data shows you concretely just how different those numbers can be. Okay, so let's do our install demo. Like I mentioned, this hex port on the end of the brake is an easy way to tighten and loosen without having to have a wrench, and it's not going to mark up the outside of the brake. So let's say that we wanted to start from scratch. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to screw the collar all the way in so it's up against the brake itself, and then we're going to tighten the brake on until it hits. Now we're almost indexed there. We're going to have to go back to look at the Hawkins logo pointing up here to the next proper indexing. I'm going to have this a little bit to the side so that when I tighten it, it will index in place. I need a little bit more. Sometimes we have to play a little bit with the nut here to get this in just the right position. So let's say we're happy with that. That's cool. The brake comes with a 50 thousandths Allen key. We've got 3 of these set screws around the circumference of the brake. What we're going to do is we're going to tighten each of those, and that's going to lock the collar to the brake. Now if we want to remove the brake, say to clean the rifle or whatever that happens to be, we're going to be able to re-torque it, and it's going to torque down to the same indexing, and that is cool. So in summary, the Tank ST is a nice low profile brake. It's got some unique features with its locking indexing collar and its hex port on the end. It's made by Hawkins Precision, which turns out top quality products right here in the US. The Ace brake builds on the Tank ST. It is available from Ace Precision. Now, if you want to know more about these brakes, if you click on that first link in the video description, in the article, I'll have a bit more information, all these graphs, all the numbers, and links to product pages. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, if you have thoughts, if you're using an Ace brake or a Tank ST, drop a comment and let's start a discussion. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles and Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.